Oh, amazing. Could you tell us a little bit, first of all, for you, when did your BDD first start to manifest itself, and what kind of form did it take?
Yeah, so BDD for me began when I was 15, just about to turn 16. And it's a little bit, well, it's ironic. I find it ironic now. So essentially I was I was on a date, going to Trocadero, actually, and this guy offered the guys on a date with a card for some modelling. And at the time I was actually really kind of cocky and vain and everything, and I was like, oh, I need the card. And so I took this card, and basically that was the trigger for me. So suddenly, having got this card, I mentioned it to my dad, and he got me these photo shoot for my 16th birthday. And all of a sudden I just became super paranoid. So for me, body dysmorphia has always been centered around my eyes. And I was just obsessed with the fact that my eyes were like hideous, that I looked tired all the time, that I looked like I'd been, always said I'd been in like 5 rounds with Mike Tyson. And just really immediately all the kind of safety behaviors. So one of the things about body dysmorphia, there's lots of mirror checking can be one of the big things. So I'd get stuck in the mirror for 2, 3, 4 hours. One of the things I did when I was there, I used to sort of pull at my skin, like kind of, and you know, people have mentioned self-harm, and that was one of the kind of, there's a self-harm element as well as trying to, and self-flagellation, trying to kind of beat myself up for being so disgusting. So that's how it began, kind of with something that was meant to be positive, but somehow I internalized it as this very negative thing.
And I mean, there's clearly nothing wrong with your eyes. Can you explain to us why, when there's clearly nothing wrong with your eyes, you still think there is something wrong with your eyes? How's that work?
I mean, a bit like when you asked Hope, I think it's, in terms of, I was about to use the word recovery, which I think is right. I think I try to speak positively. So in terms of to what extent I have recovered, one of the key things has been to realize that it is a psychological issue as opposed to a physical one. So psychologically, it's just what I see. I don't know whether I don't know the full science of whether there's something, my brain is wired differently or something. But psychologically, it's what I see. I mean, I had experience once, we talked about this on the phone, where was on Facebook, and then I saw a thumbnail image of what I thought was me, and immediately, I mean, literally, like, kind of immediately saw everything I normally see wrong with my eyes, and had all the body sensations, the kind of tightness, the nausea, you know, the anger, all of that. And then, for whatever reason, that particular occasion, I decided to look again and realize it wasn't me at all, and just saw somebody completely normal, and all of that went away. So, what that experience really showed me is that it is so immediate. And in terms of, and I think it's kind of been said by the people, previous speakers, so for me, I've kind of somewhat made my peace with the fact that that might be the case. I might just have this distortion, that's what it is, it's a distortion in how I see things. And so I tend not to try and go to work on what I see in the mirror, because that might not change, and instead it's much more about going to work on the behaviors that I have. So what do I do? So if I see that, so for instance, when I arrived here I was kind of frantic, and I went to the bathroom and, you know, saw what I normally see, and obviously I know I'm going to stand up in front of a group of people, but whereas before I might have got stuck there for like, you know, an hour, or not come and spoken to people, or tried to retreat. I was like, okay, that would be a BDD behavior. What's a non-BDD behavior? Oh, okay, I'll go and talk to people. And so I do that. And so that gives me a different quality of life, because I'm not doing the behaviors, and it doesn't really matter so much what I see in the mirror, because I can't really control that.
Okay. I mean, everyone in this room will have experienced anxiety, and most of us have some kind of hang-ups about our bodies, but there's this line between when those anxieties move from being unpleasant to actually becoming a disorder, to becoming a mental illness. Do you think your BDD would have manifested itself regardless of the society we live in and all the pressures to look good, or do you think it was triggered because of the society we live in and the body image stuff?
That's a really tricky one. I don't honestly know. What I do know, and it's kind of what's underneath the question, is that I definitely think that, yes, we live in a society, as been mentioned, Instagram, social media, Photoshop, airbrushing, all of that, which definitely doesn't help. But I know with regard to body dysmorphia itself, it was first diagnosed, about 150 years ago, when a lot of these things that we now are quick to label as being the problem weren't there. So it is a condition, it's a psychological condition. It's a bit like, I hope this doesn't come across as glib, but it'd be like saying, nowadays we have a lot more, in terms of cancer, it'd be like saying, now we have an environment which is far more hostile, there's far more carcinogens in the food that we eat, in the air that we breathe and everything. But it'd be like saying that there's carcinogens that cause cancer. Well, no, cancer's always been there, but now, yes, it's a far more hostile environment to live in than it was before.
Understood. Unfortunately, we're running a little bit behind time, so we haven't got time for Q&A, but will you be staying afterwards if people want to ask you questions afterwards? Sure. Fantastic. Do we have